All right, last question. Can you leave us with a final thought about what is possible to achieve if everything breaks our way in the next 15 years, and what's the first step to get there?
The potential positive path is so good that it will force us to rethink how should we use our time. You can almost call it a new religion or a new philosophy of, okay, how do we stay connected with each other, not addicted to these things that'll make video games look like nothing in terms of the attractiveness of spending time on them. So it's fascinating that the issues of disease and enough food, of climate, if things go well, those will largely become solved problems. And so the next generation does get to say, okay, given that some things that were massively in shortage are now not, how do we take advantage of that? Do we ban AI being used in certain endeavors so that humans get some, like you don't want robots playing baseball, probably,
Sure.
because they'll be too good. So we'll keep them off the field. Okay, how broadly would you go with that? We are so used to this shortage world that I hope I get to see how we start to rethink these deep meaning questions.
Along with China's land grabs, Microsoft founder Bill Gates is the largest private owner of American farmland. Gates alone holds over 275,000 acres across 19 states.
And I mean, you can definitely see the benefits of AI, but I think all of us kind of have a fear of it as well. So it was interesting because some of the experts in the episode said, we don't even know how it figures out what it does sometimes, which is kind of scary. So do you think companies that are creating these technologies are doing enough to safeguard it for us?
Let me ask you a last question, Bill. Now you are doing yourself this transition into a new function, and you leave behind a legacy of having transformed the world into I would say into information society. Now, if you look forward and at your next career step, career may be not the right word here, but at your next life phase, what would you like to see as your legacy in 10, 15 years?
Of the new work?
Of the new work,
yeah.
Of your new function.
Well, I set very ambitious goals because I'm quite optimistic. If you look at, say, the 20 diseases that our global health program goes after, I'd hope that within 15 years, over half of those, we could have had a very dramatic impact. Some of them will prove to be harder than others. For example, AIDS, we will have made an improvement, but not the dramatic improvement probably in that time frame. Malaria, perhaps, and a number of the other ones, we have things in the pipeline. So, huge change in the mortality rates in developing countries, which then has this effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit that then makes everything like education and nutrition a lot easier. So I have very high expectations there, and we actually use these dashboards internally at the foundation to make everything be quite numeric. We're trying to be rigorous about that and even share those so that people can see, oh, you fell short of what you had in mind, and then we get to explain if we have any lessons that might be learnable from other foundations. So I think there's some things about how we go about things that I hope those learnings can have an impact. There's the specific work in the different divisions, health, development, and the U.S. education work. That in 15 years, boy, by then we will have spent a lot of money. At $3 billion a year, 15 years, that adds up. And for that, people should have a very high expectation of what we can do.
Thank you, Bill, for having brought to us this evening a very enlightened, a very enlightened view of capitalism. I hope many will follow you We will facilitate it in any case, because that's the mission of the World Economic Forum. And I'm looking forward to, if I may say so, to welcome you back in your new incarnation next year. Thank you.
And I also thought it was interesting. He talked about losing jobs or maybe creativity. You brought up losing purpose. If computers do everything for you, what am I here for? Can you talk a little bit about that and what you think of all of it?
Yeah, in the near term, the idea of using AI to help with education, I've been out in New Jersey and seen the pilots out in Newark, using it in healthcare. Even today, if you get a MRI, putting it in the AI, it'll simplify it for your a complex medical bill. It's so powerful. It's the first technology that is happening very quickly, and there's no limit. When we had like tractors, it was okay, farmers can do other things. Here, we're talking about almost every kind of job, which should mean more leisure time, but then it's going to create almost a, wow, what do we do with all that time type problem.
Why do you think Bill Gates is buying up all this land?
Well, one is greed, and it's running America's family farm is off family land. Basically, we can't buy the land once Bill Gates moves into the area. For example, his data center is right next door here, and since he's located in Boyerton, Virginia, land prices have went through the roof, $15,000, $20,000 an acre. What farmer do you know that can pay that kind of money per acre? Off anything that we can grow on the farm. He doesn't do anything when he comes into these areas to support community-based organizations or invest back into these communities. That's what's hurting America right now. Yeah. And what he's trying to do now in the food industry is the same thing that they've done with seeds. When they put genetically modified seeds in, and now he wants to do that with beef. But America's farmers are proud farmers. And I'm asking Americans not to support fake meat, but to support farmers out here who grow beef like I do, and poultry and pork. Support America's farmers and not support Bill Gates and this mega theory and mindset that he has. Yeah. It's really called greed. And all of our farmers right here in America feel the same way. And we see right now we're getting bullied by China and people like Bill Gates who are coming in to our area. And you spoke about China. They come into these auctions and they have someone bidding for them. And again, they're buying these farms at auctions, running the prices through the roof with no oversight from this administration. And there's been no oversight or I've requested meetings time and time again on your show to meet with the president and talk about these very, very important issues. And our requests have fell upon deaf ears. So far, there hasn't been a meeting or anything like that. But we're looking differently to hear from other candidates who want to reach out to us to see if they want our support.
I think this is one of the most important issues facing America. I'm really glad you're drawing attention to it.
What are some of the things that you think people should anticipate coming with AI in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, it's so mind-blowing, sometimes it's hard to get your head around it. So Saul and I were amongst the first two people who OpenAI was nice enough to let us mess around with early ChatGPT-4. And a lot of the cool things, like having it write songs and poems. Actually, Saul taught me that stuff. I was like, I wouldn't have known to ask. It can write like Shakespeare? Wow. And so he has put a lot of con resources in. He gets support from the Gates Foundation and many others, has created this Conamigo.
I mean, one of the things that strikes me is I feel like it's super fashionable today to be, oh, the world is terrible. The world's a dumpster fire. It's getting worse. The past 30 years have been horrible. The next 20 are horrible. And yet talking to you, I'm like, no, stop. If we actually look at the data, things have been getting better, especially in global health over the last 30 years. And often because of AI, the future's bright. There's so much that can happen. And you just sort of touched on not just sort of the technological progress, but also some of the sort of bureaucratic, some of the other things that perhaps AI or else can unlock.
I bring my, hey, the world is pretty good, but that 2100 person, I hope to hear how they avoided, I'll call it the 4 footnotes. AI, nuclear weapons, bioterror weapons, and polarization. People being able to get along and cooperate, including in how governance adapts, which AI will force governance to come up with different way of taxing people and regulating things. And it's a little scary that it's happening at a time when the broad trust in government is at a very low point, both relatively and absolutely.